The crisis in trade talks with the U.S. Threatening the economy here in Canada. This afternoon, President Donald Trump announced new retaliation against Canada in its trade war with the U.S. Al Sweeney joins us live in studio with that story. Al?
Adam, after cutting off Canada-U.S. trade talks because he's upset over a TV ad from Ontario, President Trump is saying he doesn't want to restart any talks. And today he went on Truth Social to announce that he's increasing his tariffs on Canada by 10% because of the ad, even though Premier Doug Ford is pulling the commercials. Traveling on Air Force One, President Trump was asked what Canada has to do to get trade talks back on track. He didn't hold out any hope.
Really, I don't think there's much they can do. I just assume leave it the way it is. If you leave it the way it is, it's very good for us.
Trump accuses Canada of cheating by using an almost 40-year-old speech from President Ronald Reagan in the television commercial.
But over the long run, such trade barriers hurt every American worker and consumer.
After talking with Prime Minister Carney, Premier Ford said Ontario will pull the ad after this weekend's World Series games. But Trump says the damage is done.
Well, Canada lied. I mean, what they did was terrible. They made up a fake statement by President Reagan. Reagan was a big supporter of tariffs when needed, and we need tariffs for national security.
But Premier Ford has some support for his Reagan TV commercial. BC Premier David Eby says Americans need to hear how tariffs raise prices. He says his province is making ads to defend British Columbia and Canada's forestry workers. But Alberta Premier Danielle Smith has a different view, saying she's pleased to see Ontario's ad campaign is being suspended and Ottawa should continue negotiating to resolve these tariff issues. As it stands, current U.S. tariffs include 35% on most Canadian goods outside the Canada-U.S.-Mexico trade agreement, as well as 50% on Canadian steel and aluminum, and 35% on softwood lumber. And now, an additional 10% because of what he calls a hostile act by Canada. On @Truth Social, Trump says he wanted the Reagan TV ad taken down immediately. But Canada let it run last night during the World Series, knowing that it was a fraud, calling it a serious misrepresentation of the facts. With Prime Minister Carney trying to build new trade relationships in Asia and other regions, McMaster University economist Colin Mang says Canada could be in for a tough adjustment if the U.S. tariffs stay.
Canadian auto manufacturers, Canadian steel producers are going to need to redesign their production processes. We're going to need to see a refocus towards the Canadian market. Unfortunately, what it does mean is that job losses are likely to become permanent. The industry will be a bit smaller, but it will adapt, and it will serve the Canadian market.
If the Blue Jays win, I'll send you some of Ontario's finest maple syrup.
Premier Doug Ford also got support in a World Series bet with California Governor Gavin Newsom, who still got in a dig about the LCBO removing American wine and other alcohol.
Can you do me a favor? Think you can put it on the liquor store shelves?
I don't think so, buddy. Talk to your friend in the Oval Office.
Here's to a great World Series and a tariff-free friendship between Ontario and California.
So Carney and Trump were both flying to a summit in Malaysia today. Trump said he has no intention of meeting with Carney there. Carney's office says there is no meeting with Trump planned, but he hopes to have lots of meetings with Southeast Asian leaders about expanded trade.